The silent visitor. It was a cold, quiet night when Ethan moved into his new apartment. The building was old, with creaky floors and dim hallways, but it was cheap, and he didn't mind a bit of eerie atmosphere. As he unpacked, he noticed something strange. A small door in the corner of the living room, barely big enough for a child to crawl through. Curious, he tried to open it, but it was locked tight. He shrugged it off, thinking it was probably just an old access panel or storage space. Hours passed, and as midnight approached, Ethan lay in bed, the apartment silent except for the occasional creak of the old wooden floor. Suddenly, he heard a soft tapping sound coming from the living room. He sat up, listening closely. The tapping grew louder and more rhythmic, as though someone was knocking on the small door. His heart pounded as he grabbed a flashlight and tiptoed toward the sound. When he reached the living room, the tapping stopped. He pointed the flashlight at the small door. It was slightly ajar, though he was certain it had been locked before. Cautiously, he knelt and pulled the door open. Darkness greeted him, and a cold draft swept through the room. He shone the flashlight into the opening, but saw nothing but an empty crawl space. Just as he was about to close it, he noticed something, tiny footprints leading into the darkness. Ethan's breathing quickened. He backed away, closing the door firmly and locking it again. He returned to bed, telling himself it was just his imagination. But sleep didn't come easily. At exactly 3 a.m., he awoke to the sound of creaking floorboards. His bedroom door was wide open. He was sure he had closed it. Trembling, he reached for his phone to turn on the flashlight. Just as the light flicked on, he saw it. A shadowy figure standing at the foot of his bed, small and silent. Before he could react, the figure whispered in a cold, raspy voice, "You opened the door. Now you can't close it." And then it was gone. But every night since, Ethan hears the tapping at midnight. He never opens the door again. But deep down, he knows it's still waiting.